What's up, YouTube? Static in the Attic. Welcome back. Now that the mainstream media has caught up to what I've been saying for 3 weeks, I really hope people are listening. This might get kind of long. Anybody who's watched my research videos knows that's because I am very thorough in what I'm doing here and trying to present as much information as possible. I'm going to go through the flooding first, and then we're going to get into what's going on with the financial world. And I'm sorry to say it, but it's just not a good outlook on any of it. What I am trying to do is give everyone some advance warning here, because the mainstream media and the government will do what they always do, try to ignore it to the last minute, and then it's going to be a big circus of people trying to get out of the way, this and that. The good news is flooding is a leisurely disaster. It will take time to occur. But if you're in a city with millions of people trying to get out of the way, or even in farmlands where the bridges may be taken out, it's gonna escalate quickly, and you need to be self-reliant. So everybody has my permission to use this video however you want. Share it on social media, wherever. Repackage it, do your own version of it. I don't care. Just please spread this information, because I'm trying to give a couple weeks advance notice here. In my estimation here, it looks like we're going to be good up into April, and that's where it looks like things are going to start warming up. The record snowpack, Rockies, Sierras, it's all going to start melting, and it's spring. Rain is inevitable. 2 cyclones hit Australia last night, and a bomb cyclone is working its way up the East Coast right now. There's been catastrophic flooding on every single continent that I've been covering this for a month now. I don't see why anybody thinks it's going to be any different here in the US as our rainy season is approaching. Moderate to major flooding is expected along river basins in the central and southern U.S. this spring. Nearly 2/3 of the lower 48 faces an elevated flood risk through May. So we're just getting started here, guys. And here's the flood map. The red is moderate. The purple is major. So by their estimates, they're showing moderate flooding over into Missouri. It's not looking good for the Tennessee Valley. So let's just start right there. I'm going to leave this in the links for everybody. This is the USGS topographical maps. And let me show you how to use it real quick. And you can look up your area. So you will come onto this page, be able to jump in here, and let me tell you, from the confluence here of the Ohio River, Tennessee River, Missouri River, all meets up at Cairo. And from here to Sikeston, that's only about I think it was just over 10 feet of elevation over to Sikeston. So this could spread far and wide very quickly, and I'll show you later in the video why the name Cairo sitting right there is a very ominous sign. And so I want to show you Memphis. So you come on here, click the area you're in, and then it's going to pull up a TOPO over here on the side. Click on that. And now you can zoom in here, and you can see that the riverbank here is at 221 feet. Just the other side of this is 216. Anybody from this area knows how West Memphis floods all the time. This one could go much, much farther. But you go over here into Overton Park, and I believe it's 250 here. So, I mean, you're only talking 30 feet. Now, I really do think it would be a long shot that Memphis would actually flood. And if you lived at, say, Tutwiler and North Highland up here, you probably wouldn't flood, but the bridge may go out. Other bridges have literally floated away in this. So if you were wanting to get out of that area, I would highly recommend at the first sign that things have started upstream and they are headed your way, that you get the other side of Walnut Ridge here where the bridge is and start getting up into the hills to at least Cherokee Village. So you guys can use this map, check out anywhere in the country, see where you're at, see your flood risk. Just check the rivers in your area and then check your elevations where you're at. And you'll kind of have an idea. So this is the bomb cyclone that is hitting the East Coast right now. The storm slamming the region in the first few days of spring is bringing heavy rain to many places, and a few locations could receive up to 24 inches of spring snow. Now, I haven't verified yet whether this is actually a bomb cyclone or not. All a bomb cyclone is it has to drop, I believe, 24 millibars in 24 hours. And when you get the drop in the pressure, then you get the increased winds like we saw with all the trees toppled. And I mean, the tornado threat is way elevated right now, and it's already been happening. So this was the bomb cyclone that just hit the Midwest and all the way up into Colorado. And you can see what it did to the river here. I checked elevations here, and like Craig, Missouri, for instance, that just got evacuated, it doesn't take but another 5 or 10 feet for that to go very, very far away from the river. And I'm sure everybody has seen all of the stranded motorists. I mean, this blizzard hit, and look, everybody just had to get out and go. I don't know how these people got out of here. But I will say this, there was a reason that I went and out in, it was a 39-degree night. And I showed how about $50 worth of gear, and most of it you already have in your house, can literally be the difference between life and death. I highly recommend everybody has a pack in their car, able to take care of themselves in case anything happens. It's just that simple. And I mean, look at this poor guy and his dog. Do you think he thought in a million years that his house would flood? It's just not something that you really think about that much. And Mike Morales took a trip up to northern Missouri here and did some filming. And
all right, so here's a view of the,
I do highly recommend his channel. He's on it as far as the weather forecasting goes. And it just looks like an inland ocean over there. Later in the video, I'm going to show you actual inland oceans that have formed this year. Up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, we're looking at temperatures being above freezing 24/7, so that'll allow the snow melt to continue for 24/7. The snowpack contains between 4 and 8 inches of liquid water that, as the pack melts, it will begin to fill the James and Big Sioux rivers that are already swollen and flooded. And this is Sioux Falls. This is not even up in the mountains where we have very heavy snowpack. And so the levee breached in Craig, Missouri, and they had to start evacuating everybody out of there. And this is going on in a lot of places. I'm just listing a few examples. You can go to other channels and see all the pictures of the damage that has been done. I'm trying to warn people beforehand that it's going to get worse. Flooding will continue in waves and varying degrees of severity over the central United States, including a large part of Mississippi River watershed. Keep in mind that the Yazoo backwater is already flooded and that the levee system down there has been working in reverse. The levee system is meant to hold the Mississippi in and keep the water out of the fields. The torrential rains over in the fields have filled up the backwater, and now the levee is just holding the water in with nowhere to go. They didn't put the pumps in because of environmentalists arguing whatever they were arguing. Winter of 2018 to 2019 will go down on the record books for being the wettest on record due to relentless rain and snow. The ground is absolutely saturated. I can't say this enough. The water has nowhere to go. Unless some miracle happens and we get a few weeks of sunshine and let that water drain out, it's just going to keep backing up. And we also just had a king tide rolling in this weekend for coastal East Coast. And as soon as I get updated on what actually happened over there, it's really hard to find live information on what's going on over there. Shadow banning and censorship is very real right now. I cannot find anybody's posts, like individuals, of their house flooding and them having to evacuate. It's all being shadow banned. You just won't see it anymore. And I dug looking for it. People will take a selfie if they got an ice cream cone. You mean to tell me there's no videos out there of people being evacuated? Mike Morales just showed volunteers showing up with their boats, getting all those people out of Missouri because they're stranded out there on hilltops and it's an ocean around them. Be prepared, not scared, okay? So we'll go east to west with the rain forecast coming up. And like I said, we're going into April. It's going to rain more. That's all there is to it. And it's still just building up more and more snowpack. And I believe this is Denver. Double check. Yeah. So starting next week, Denver will be above freezing. They're kind of low in the mountains. It goes straight uphill out of there, so it'll be a little cooler temperatures up where the heavy snowpack is, but it's just beginning. And now we look at Eastern. This weekend, a lot of rain coming through. Then Monday, East Coast is getting hit. Wednesday night, Thursday, starting all over again. And keep in mind, every bit of this is all in the watershed that's going straight down through there. Now, on the warming trend, very convenient that their normal range is from 33 degrees to 33 degrees, or 66 total there. This is the probability of above average temperatures. So you're going to have definitely above average temperatures all through this area, which is extending into Colorado and the Rockies. So the snow melt is coming. And let me just show you the map real quick, and then I'll just kind of scroll around here and play you a clip from the Nebraska governor. So Spencer Dam has already blown out. All of these dams are being compromised right now, and each of these dams are contingent on each other. So the Great Flood of 1993 that I'm going to show in a minute was due to storms in this area and this area alone. We already have flooding in Milwaukee that is backing up the sewer system, and so there's raw sewage floating up onto the streets. Cincinnati and Nashville has already had moderate flooding this year on the Ohio River and the Tennessee River. Rock Island, Quincy coming on down. Let me just show you the projections for the Quad Cities river stages. Right now, there is a 90% chance that it will be above the 18-foot stage. The 18-foot stage is where it starts breaching over the levees. It's a 75 to 90% chance that it'll get up to 20 feet. It's a 50 to 75% chance that it will be 22 feet, 25 to 50% chance up to 23.5 feet. The flood of 1993, the highest stage, I believe, was 22 something. It may even say so down here. 22.63, July 9th, 1993. So there's a 50-50 chance of the river getting up to 22 feet this year. And then a 50 to 75% chance of being absolutely catastrophic. And this is just that one area right here, which will be draining down here, and all of this watershed from the Appalachians up into the Adirondacks, everything west of here coming down here. Everything east of the Continental Divide is coming down here. All of the rivers and lakes go to right there. So let me play you what Nebraska governor had to say.
And we're watching as floodwaters rise to dangerous levels today across the Midwest. In Iowa, nearly 2,000 people have been evacuated from their homes. Officials in Missouri have counted about 100 flood-related road closures across the state. And in Nebraska, at least 2 people are dead. In Sarpy County, 500 homes were destroyed when floodwaters breached 2 levees. Nebraska Governor Republican Pete Ricketts has declared a state of emergency, and he joins us now. Governor, welcome.
This dam's gone. All this watershed is going unimpeded.
I know you've been out surveying the damage. What have you seen?
We have the most widespread flooding damage, at least in a half century, and maybe in our entire state's history. Major river systems such as the Niobrara, the Platte, the Elkhorn, the Loup River, the Missouri River are all at record flood stages, and it is just creating widespread devastation. And just to put this in perspective, the last major flooding we had was 2011 along the Missouri, and our National Guard soldiers were deployed there, but only to watch levees. This time, we've had almost 300 people that have to be rescued. We've got people that are displaced. We've got about 16 shelters set up right now. And so it really is a much different scenario than what we had in 2011. And then if you look back, some of these records we're breaking go back to the 1960s.
How did it get this bad so quickly?
We think it's a combination of this cyclone bomb that is a weather feature that happens, I guess, about once a year in the United States, where you get high winds. We had a blizzard in the Panhandle. We had rain. We had a lot of snow on the ground, and warming weather conditions all caused it to melt at once. And frankly, with the frozen ground, there wasn't any place for it to go. The ground was saturated, so it just all ran off into the river systems. Because it was so widespread, it just impacted us all over the place.
How's the levee system holding up across the state?
We've had a number of levees break, and that is, of course, flooded communities. And in fact, along the Missouri River right now, I was talking to the Army Corps of Engineers yesterday. all of the levees are compromised in at least some way. So we're very concerned about the ability for those levees to hold. Almost all the levees have been topped. In some cases, we're 2, 3, 4 feet over the tops of the levees. So that's really creating some concern down the road for how those levees.
Okay, so those levees are already compromised, and I'm going to show you here shortly what happened in 93. Guys, once it starts to go, they don't have a plan. It's just a free-for-all after that. So Sioux Falls up here is already reporting, let me see if I can find the article again. I'm not sure if it was an evacuation there yet, but they are saying that the water's coming up quickly there, so that you should expect flooding. That's all the way here, and that's happening right now, where this is already flooded. That water will end up here. It's just basic physics, okay? Here are all of the black diamonds or black triangles are rivers above flood stage. Everything through this whole area is already above flood stage, and they are. I'm just telling you, the media and the Army Corps, the media is not reporting it. The Army Corps engineers have got to be freaking out right now already. So let's just backtrack and let's go back to 1993, and let me show you the events that unfolded there. If this page will load. Oh, I had these queued up.
Running along the river's edge, these large earthen walls prevent the river from flooding adjoining farms and towns. But by early July...
So you could see right there that they've built up levees and got the rivers to where they run above the neighboring fields. That's a real bummer. I had a lot of this queued up and ready to go for you guys.
The levees are beginning to weaken. Evacuation orders are issued while there is still time to escape. Unfolding in slow motion, a flood is unlike any other natural disaster.
Earthquake, boom, sudden.
Okay, so a long story short, and I'll leave this in the description box so you guys can watch it for yourselves, is once the levee started going, it was just a race against time trying to reinforce the levees downstream. They had to blow up one levee to let the water through in order to save one of the towns. There was one town that had propane tanks exploding and releasing propane everywhere out in the surrounding area, and propane is heavier than air, so it stays down on the ground. You could literally be out in the free air and asphyxiate from the propane. Not trying to fearmonger, I'm just trying to make sure everybody understands facts. So here are some more facts. We had all the 60 some odd fires of the campfire that bust out overnight that they still don't seem to be able to explain, and there's not going to be any investigations now, that's for sure, because all of it's washed out. So in Northern California, that happened last summer, and FEMA can't get a damn thing done because all they're doing is chasing their tail around, stealing all of our money, basically, and they can't put some trailers out for the people that were affected by that. So they are literally in a FEMA camp right now, exactly where all the people in Nebraska, unless they've got some other family to go stay with, that's where they're going to be headed. So unless you want to end up in a FEMA camp right off the bat, I suggest you get yourself prepared. And let me tell you, if you're stuck on a little hill and it's a big lake all around you, you're going to want to get on that chopper and just go ahead and go. Because it's going to take months for the water to go down.
Our trailers, the big circus tents are gone. They still have a tent over there, but not as big as the other one. And here we have a truck. These trucks are coming inside and out all day long.
So a big shout out to Jamie over to Plain Truth 2. He's been covering the fires. I still say some of the best reporting on YouTube, and I will definitely have that in the links. Now let's look at what has already occurred all around the world. This is February 15th. I just did videos over all this stuff. A 37-mile wide river sprang up in the course of a month. And this was so big that it was affecting weather patterns downwind of it. That was in Australia. Cyclone Ida just hit Africa, and it caused a massive inland ocean to form. I'm trying to get the before and afters on that. Here. Here it was before, here it is after. And this is a big, huge area here. Thousands of people died in this disaster. Whole towns were just absolutely wrecked. Come on, computer. Sorry, guys, bear with me here. I'm not going to start all over on this. My computer's being glitchy here. And great, it just erased that page. So let's just move on. I was gonna show. Okay, that one was gonna be just showing the towns that were absolutely wrecked over in Africa. So that's the weather. Okay, let me tell you guys what's going on with our economy on top of things. All of the financial reports that are on CNN and sites like that right now are all fluff. Any and every financial and independent financial analyst is saying the exact same thing right now. That the market is going down, it's going down fast, and you need to get yourself prepared. Okay, my computer's just going to completely screw up here. Okay, this is Jerimiah Babe. I'll leave a link in here. He's a good Christian, gun-toting dude. It's exactly the kind of guy that you want on your side. Trust me. That's him out in the field, but most of his videos are in a suit and tie and definitely worth a watch. So let me just tell you a little bit what's going on. 5,600 stores have announced closing in 2019 already. This is only March. That's 5,600 stores with, who knows how many employees. Let's say 50 employees per store. That's 25,000 people out of the job right there. Okay? Bitcoin is down 13%. Apple's down $40 a share. GE racked up $41 billion credit line from 30 different lenders. That's enough to send banks under if they default on their loans. The California housing market has dropped 20% in the last 6 months. I watched the exact same thing go down just before the '08 crash. Things slowed down here in California, and it had a ripple effect all the way across the country. Consumer debt is up to $13.5 trillion. Corporate debt is up to $9 trillion because after the bailouts and the Fed's quantitative easing, where they just threw money at the problem because that's the only thing government knows how to do, is print more money, devalue the dollar, and then throw all the money at the problem and not solve anything. All they did is overinflate our dollar, didn't fix anything. And so the corporate debt, the Fed introduced 0% interest rates, and so all of the brick and mortar chain stores across the country were already struggling because of their loss of sales to the .com industry, and so they took out massive loans and they racked up another $9 trillion in debt. So I know I'm just a dumb carpenter that swings a hammer. Don't take my word for it. You go search out the economic analysts that are out here and listen to them. Even Bloomberg will tell you it's coming. So we have major flooding coming this spring, and the economy is already in the dumps and heading down fast. So hope for the best, or plan for the worst and hope for the best. It's kind of the saying that I've been using this whole time. And that's all I can do. A few people have come on and commented, why am I scared? I'm not scared. I am prepared, and I am getting more prepared every single day. Now, if you guys are kind of new to this channel, I just started this channel on December 31st and just kind of had an overwhelming desire just to start dumping information. If you've seen my first few videos, you will see that I had no clue what I was doing. But I'm just going to throw this out there that on January 21st, this was the message that was in my heart to start giving people. But since they like the date April 22nd so much, I say we all celebrate Earth Day this year by exploring the majesty of our national park systems. So what was on my mind was staging a protest, and for some reason the date of April 22nd was coming through really strong. My mind was sitting there telling me, no, that's too early in the year. But my heart and my conscious contact with God was saying April 21st or April 22nd, in that time frame. Now, coincidentally, I released this video on January 21st, the day after the full moon, worm moon eclipse. Today is March 22nd, just after another full moon, and it just so happens that April 22nd is just after the supermoon in April. Anybody that's watched my channel for any period of time knows that I do not believe in coincidences. And so for some reason, it was in my heart to tell people to be in the national forests in April. And then my very next video, topographical maps and know how to go out here and live comfortably like I do. Also, I want you to know how to pack a car in case of an actual bug out. Everybody talks about, ooh, I got a bug out bag and blah blah, and what are you gonna do? If it was that easy and that great of a thing, then why don't you just go ahead and do it? And so that was 2 days later on January 23rd. Now, you guys can interpret that any way that you want. I still don't know. The protest thing and protesting all of this crap that is going on, that this whole system has thrown everybody into increasing poverty, increasing hardships. They are poisoning our drinking water. They are raping our forest. This whole system is designed to fail, and it's now starting to show. So, I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments below. And hit like. I don't know if I'm still getting shadow thumbed. I don't ever even say hit like. I don't ever even say hit subscribe, but I'm saying it now for some reason. But you guys tell me in the comments what you think. Should we stage a huge protest and try to wake up all the sheeple, or should we just be looking out for ourselves here? So I'm sorry it got kind of long there, but like I said, there's a lot to this, and I'll definitely be back with a lot more as things are unfolding. And California is not even included in this one because that's kind of its own thing. And I think everybody that I'm reaching in California has already heard what I've got to say on that. And like I said, I think we've got a little bit of time before everything starts happening. And in all my research videos, I do try to close on a positive note, so I thought it'd probably be a good idea to start doing it on these. So I'm going to tell you a little story of a Cherokee elder that was talking to his grandson one night and decided to drop a little wisdom on him. Told his grandson, "A fight is going on inside me. It is a terrible fight, and it's between two wolves. This battle that goes on between the two wolves is inside us all. One wolf is evil. He is angry, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other wolf is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thought about it for a minute. Then he asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" The grandfather just smiled, looked him in the eye, and said, "The one you feed." I love you guys. Take care of yourselves out there. We are all one. Static out.